baby beard.
Waited for you, Fry.
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad.
First get out into bus, so you're like, oh no!
Yeah. I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast.
You've been in
Yeah, because you haven't learned anything.
Shut up and take my podcast.
I love
Hey.
that we're a boy band now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we're like 98 degrees.
Outside.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you remember 98 degrees?
I do remember
in the
98
oven.
degrees.
I have no idea what you're
I
talking
do.
about.
Just weren't a fan.
Nah, of the boy bands, they were like 5th on my list.
Backstreet Boys,
Backstreet Boys.
Five.
Street Boys.
5 is up there.
NSYNC,
NSYNC.
Human Nature.
Yeah, that's
Boys to Men.
Boys
yeah.
to Men.
I was going to say
Savage Garden.
Bardot, but
I
that's
guess they're not
a,
really.
Take that.
It's not a boy
Take
band.
that.
Is that
Uh,
who was in Take That?
Robbie
Robbie Williams. That's
Robbie
Robbie
Williams.
Williams
Yeah,
inspired
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wham.
I clearly know
They're not-
Wham.
nothing about boy
Is
bands.
Wham or a boy band?
Milli
I guess.
Vanilli.
The Police.
Welcome everybody to Shut Up and Take My Podcast, the Futurama podcast that pits episode against episode in a bloody glorious gauntlet battle for your entertainment. Wham! I am joined here by Phil,
I'm scared and great at sex.
by Ellen,
Because I'm an idiot dumb guy what does that kind of thing.
by Chris,
Listen to my boss words.
And,
And
we're joined by Sean.
and so for about
Oh, heavens.
Sean, you kissed your mother with that mouth? Do people kiss their
Ew.
mother?
You swear in strange ways, my friend.
Does anyone
You know
here
this is
kiss their
Australia,
mother
you can-
with their mouth?
Was that?
As in, do you mean on the mouth?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's not
But I
an
do
that's
kiss
not
my
an
mother
Italian
with
thing.
a mouth.
Yes.
My mouth.
No,
Your mouth.
I-
not a mouth.
I don't kiss my mother with my mouth.
No.
I have no mouth, but I must kiss my mouth.
I press my
weirdly-
skin where my mouth would be.
The weirdly wholesome
You said the weird hole.
dystopia.
Like
I have so
the
much
weird
to
hole.
love to give, and I cannot give it.
Oh, dear.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have fun here on Shut Up and Take My Podcast, and this week, as we bring Chris back into the fold, he joins us for Season 6, Episode 14, Silence of the Clamps, which is a reference to...
Silence of the pigs.
Yeah, happy pig year, everyone.
Hello,
Yes.
Clarice. Wait, we had a quiz on this thing. Is it hello or is it good evening?
It's good evening, isn't it?
Good
I believe
evening.
so,
Yeah, that was
That's
on
one of those
Family
misquotes.
Fortunes, which, by the way, if you do look up Family Fortunes through the podcast app,
We're on it
Filmily.
sometimes.
Family Fortunes, don't watch Family Fortunes.
Yes,
Fuck that.
we're not on that at all.
If you go look
Well,
up Family
I am,
Fortunes, the movie quiz that we were recently a part of, and we're on the latest episode against We Watch Anything, so a little plug there. I believe we got that wrong one time about Good Evening, Clarice. Was that right?
I don't think that was our question.
No,
I
it
don't
wasn't.
think it was
We
ours.
did it as part of our research,
Yeah.
which failed.
It was someone else's question.
Yes, yes. That
I
is-
was pretty drunk when you guys recorded, so I have no idea.
yeah, so that was
Yeah.
Silence of the
Silence of the Lambs, which
everyone.
is one of my favorite films. Of all
I've
time.
never seen it.
It's really.
Oh,
good.
it's a fantastic film.
Is
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's great.
Okay.
It is
Classic.
the shortest amount of time for an actor to be on screen to get the best actor
I
nomination.
know all the facts about it.
Give me another
Sure.
fact, then.
It has fava beans in it
Well,
A nice
Fava.
and a nice Chianti.
Chianti.
and a nice Chianti. See, that's a movie fact.
and another fact for you is that the director for this episode is Frank Marino.
Nice segue.
I did
He
not.
sounds awful Italian-like.
He might even be related to famous
sheep.
NFL quarterback Dan Marino.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Or
But we didn't do that
or
research.
a
No, I
type
didn't.
of-
Oh, you didn't? Okay, I thought you were going to back that up with evidence.
No,
Be like,
I've got
and
none.
he is. Oh, okay.
he might
He-
be related also to a type of Spanish sheep whose wool is quite fleacy.
Oh, the
and-
Merino.
Yeah, Merino.
Or he was
I was
named
trying to
after the suburb in Adelaide, Merino Bay.
I didn't know we
Don't
had that.
even know that one.
It's near, for all you Adelaide listeners, it's near Marion.
Our references
Ah.
are just getting more obscure.
More niche.
Just some deep cuts.
Deep cuts. It's almost like the Robin Williams Nanu Nanu deep cut that you
Yes.
believe was. Yes.
Get on our level, listener.
Writer for this episode is Eric Rogers, who you may remember from way, way, way back when he did the very first Anthology of Interest.
Oh, cool.
It's the last time we had him. This is his first solo credit, but it's also his first nomination on Futurama because he was nominated for the Writers Guild of America Award for Best Writing, which he lost to Simpsons episode Homer the father.
Which one's that one?
Yeah.
So I actually asked our good friend Elliot from the Simpsons Index, who will be guesting on in a couple of weeks' time, and I said, what did you think about? And he said it was one of the rare instances where the panel was split silver to participating, which is basically either shit to kinda okay, and then it averaged out on meh. I really liked it, but I think they whiffed the ending pretty badly.
They just sucked it into their nostrils.
This is a very fun episode, but yeah. Does it deserve a Writers Guild of America award?
Are you on the Writers Guild of America?
as not really a writer or an American, no.
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a curveball.
Yes, resounding yes.
You're neither of those things?
You're not a...
I guess I'm a writer,
I thought you were American. All this time, I thought you were American.
You talk
Well, that's
funny.
Sean.
No, that was Phil doing my accent. Phil
That's
was
right.
doing...
Yeah.
I wasn't on the podcast that week.
It was just me
Phil.
talking to myself.
I had to edit that thing really well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it sounded like there was a conversation that,
We're actually all American.
It's actually just one person.
yeah.
Hey, Chris.
Oh, sure.
Hey. Oh, hey.
Hi.
Don't make Sean and I do our terrible South African accents.
Don't do it.
No, I'm not going to do that. Yes, and so the air date for this episode is July the 14th, 2011, 7 days after my 20th birthday.
Wow.
But how many days after or before my birthday?
Oh.
Is that on your birthday?
It's my birthday!
Hey!
14th of July, what year?
2011. How old were you?
Wow.
So I was
you
born
were born
in
in 2011?
86.
You were 26?
I was born in 86.
Yep.
So someone do the maths.
Look, I don't know. Well, how much older than you were? How much older are you from me? I can say that better.
But
How
you
old-
shouldn't try.
We should not be this hard for us.
Phil,
It
how
really
old are you?
shouldn't. 2011.
Tell me how old you are.
19, I'm 32.
We will work it out from the number you
5
I was
years.
25 years old.
Yes, I could have told you that.
25.
If I'm 20, it's 5 years on, which makes
Okay.
it 25. We got there, listeners. We got there. So, happy 25th
This
birthday.
came out on my 25th
Oh,
birthday.
wow.
cool.
Did you watch it?
I have no idea. Probably not.
No.
Now,
Shame.
we can introduce two recurring characters. It's not going to be Judge 723, because dead. Oh, that's another person I can add to my tally.
You said that with far too much glee.
Yes.
Ooh, this person died.
Hey, Death, what are you, me?
Judge 724 appears apparently several times. That's the second judge, the one
Okay.
that is happy to receive intimidations and threats.
Yes.
And we also get the striped tie lawyer is going to make a
He's
lot more.
great. I love his
Ooh,
design.
yeah.
The red and yellow tie.
He's very,
Yeah.
like,
And his mouth
90s
is
yuppie, isn't he? Like
yeah, very.
I know he can't have slicked hair because he's a robot and it's just painted onto his head, but it's very slick.
Although
Yes.
Bender has slicked hair and a slicked antenna.
Says a-
Yeah.
Oh, isn't it the antenna his dick though?
Oh.
Yeah, sort of.
Sort of.
It's a dick surrogate. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not.
Well, when I go to weddings, I
Nice.
slick my dick back. So
Same.
Does Bella... does-
Apply a liberal amount
I'm
of lube.
not the only one.
Yeah,
Not when
thank
you're out in
you.
public.
Does-
Be sex, yes, apply lube, but not when you
Why?
just.
Why would I do it if I don't want to put it out in public?
Yeah, whip it out and be proud.
I am.
In
Phil,
other, in,
what's
other, in other news, Sean
was-
and Chris are now facing charges.
Yeah,
I've got many charges against me at this point.
Weddings are different for us. You wouldn't understand.
Does Bella not come back?
No.
Oh.
Shame.
No.
And
Really?
violin and cello bots never
I
come back.
love
No,
them
none of
so
those peeps
much.
never make returns.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
lot of just, funnily enough, they just live and die in this mob-themed episode.
Yeah, okay.
Phil,
Yes.
would you like to run down the plot?
I would. Oh, I fucking would.
Watch your profanity.
So the Planet Express crew have to deliver some new clamps to a Mafia wedding. Bender decides to sneak in where he witnesses a mob hit on Calculon. He has to go into witness protection. Clamps is sent into Planet Express to find out where Bender is. They accidentally find him, they think, on the moon. Nothing to do with his infiltration. It's complete coincidence. There's a whole thing about his brain being wiped and a showdown with Zoidberg. The Bender they find on the moon gets killed. And then it all turns out to be a complete non sequitur because it's not really Bender and he's just literally working across the road in the pizza place at the end.
But wouldn't that be the last place to look?
In a,
Yes,
in a
that's
pizza
right.
place or across the road?
Both.
Bit of both, really, yeah.
I used to live right next door to a pizza place, actually, so that's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
I lived in the
I'm not-
back of a pizza place.
I mean, I'm-
Wait,
my
what?
house
What?
was the back of a pizza shop.
In the wood oven.
Sort of. The front of the housing block was shops, like a whole bunch of different shops, and one of them was a pizza shop, and the back of the house is where I lived.
God, your diet would have
God.
been awful.
This is when we blew up the kitchen, and there was black mold holding the bathroom together.
I'm sorry, what? You blew up a kitchen?
Yeah.
You do have, like, felonies against you.
Is this the
A little
episode where we
bit.
just reveal personal information and
Yeah.
where we used to live, how old
Well,
we are,
I would like to say
birthdays.
something about. No, I actually don't have any personal information to reveal today.
What is that? What is that?
Today.
That new felony? Grand? What was it? Larceny.
It was grand larceny or something like
Larson
Grand
arson.
Three Larson.
Burglar larceny.
that. Yeah, that's something like that.
Burglar
Hey guys, I saw Captain Marvel. Now I have a conviction for Grand Brie Larson. Thank you. I'll be here all week.
And I'm just going to turn your mic off. No, that's actually quite smooth. I like that.
Please
Thank you.
ask us how the episode goes, Sean. I'm dying over here.
I
The
wanna-
format has been disrupted.
Oh, look, format? What are you on about?
That's right.
I actually want to whip over to a function, not a function, a segment of the show that I'm very, very happy with this
You're
week.
whipping over to your own segment.
I'm
Seems
whipping.
a bit conceited, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Have you met me?
What's the segment?
The death count.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite high.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm counting 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Oh,
8.
the nooses.
No, there's 10 actually.
Nooses.
Not including them.
No, you don't see that death, right?
No,
true.
so Judge 723.
Yeah.
The 6 people that were going to interview for my next
yeah.
best job.
Oh, I
robots.
completely forgot about them because they're
Yeah.
actors, so they're not real people.
Billy West
The robots.
and
Billy West dies in this episode.
Oh, Phil lost his shit.
That got me so good, that joke.
what are our thoughts on this episode, guys? Friends, compadres,
I
people?
thought, it gives like a tiny Italian kiss for me.
What does that sound like?
For accuracy.
What does that sound like, Ellen? What's that sound like?
Mwah.
There you go.
Ah,
Actually, that was probably a bit too big. Mwah.
There.
Yeah.
I think this
Yeah.
this episode sort of doesn't start slow, but it sort of gets increasingly better throughout.
Yeah, I felt like I don't know. I did really like the wedding, though. I just found it.
yeah,
and it has one of the best
It had a
opening
lot of
jokes.
visual gags.
Yes.
that was good opening.
Yeah, the opening joke is
Who
great.
likes good news?
Yes,
Everyone, well, then good news, everyone.
I thought there was going to be. I'm glad that the daughter's name is Bella, because she has a bell design. So her skirt is basically a bell.
Hold your clapper.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I thought she was going to be the belle of the ball.
Oh.
I thought that's where that was going.
Hey,
But
baby.
Right.
I was also satisfied by Bella. So.
I like
Hey,
the
baby, you're my
callback.
third choice.
The callback to Wild Green Yonder, where it's like, Bender, do you remember me? We had an affair.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
Fanny.
That's right.
The Donbot's right here.
I quite like that
Donbot.
moment where he's just kind of oblivious to the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's just waiting for her to keep dancing with him again.
Yeah.
The Donbot.
No, I loved the whole mobster thing. I think it really does give a lot of stakes to things because they are not even subtle about just murdering and like literally tampering with the jury's mind mid-court. Like they don't do it in a back room. Like what's his face is scrambling someone's brain, just like
Joey Mousebag.
Joey Mouse.
Joey Mouse.
And the judge defers to Donbot.
Oh, they also
Overrules.
just immediately shoot a judge. I feel like that should be said. If they're just going to immediately shoot a judge, why don't they just shoot Bender?
I quite like the speech.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, they're Italian. You gotta, add a little drama.
I think it'd be good. I think the best part about this episode is a lot of it is quick.
Yes.
Like, so there's lots of quick cutaways and cutbacks. So Clamps is waiting in the room with the other people who are looking to apply for the other robots who are looking to apply for the position. Hermes leaves, comes back, everyone's dead. The
Yeah.
joke, we push on with the narrative. Like, it's not made a big deal of. It's
pretty quick,
and,
yeah.
it's
Which
like
is
fast
why,
turnarounds.
like, there are some segments where I didn't really find the joke. Like, there were a few missed jokes for me, but because it moved so quickly, I was like, onto the bit I do find funny. Haha.
It's all in
marvelous.
service.
Yes,
it's all in
please.
service of the plot, right? It doesn't really meander or
No,
get lost
it's
anywhere.
I think maybe that's because they have the mob, so it's like
It's a great framework. They have a great witness protection framework.
Yeah, it's a really simple story.
Yeah.
And I think like Eric Rogers as well, he's the person who's mainly responsible for the Futurama comic series. Where he has to be kind of economic with his writing and how you just got to get one frame and get everything in there. It's just kind of, it's got that cracking pace that potentially a comic book writer can have as well. So, and I mean, this episode on top of that is the second year in a row that Maurice LaMarche gets the Emmy Award for voiceover, outstanding voiceover.
For which one?
For all the many characters that he plays.
Including like Don Bot and...
this episode? Or this?
Yeah, this episode.
Yeah, right.
This is the second year running.
Do we know how many he is in this episode?
I can look that up for you and tell you in a moment.
Reason.
What about the EBI bot? Does he come back?
What's EBI?
The Fed.
The Fed.
Oh.
So he's not Fed.
No,
he's
he does.
the Earth Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah, it took me a while to get that joke as well. I was like,
is
EDI?
he? Is it? I don't know.
He's an Ed.
Ed.
Yeah, maybe
Nice.
he's called Ed.
I love his design.
Yeah, good design.
Oh, he's great.
And
I
the
also
hat spinning away as it like the spaceship with the hat is.
yeah,
beautiful.
I do love his design. There was one joke, like it was a visual joke. I didn't get it, but okay. So it's the J. Edgar Winter. I know that it's a play off J. Edgar Hoover, but how?
It's because it was the
How is that
colonnades.
a play? Like,
the colonnades were really short, so I'm wondering if it's someone else who's very short rather than Hoover, who's tall.
I don't know.
I
didn't see it.
I was just
must
like,
have missed
why
that
is it How does Winter play off Hoover?
It was also the
Write in,
the court
please.
was the integrated circuit.
Yes,
Which is why
yes.
it was electrified.
The
okay.
illusions point of, doesn't even reference a J. Edgar Hoover bit, so they don't even know.
Who's J. Edgar Winter?
So,
Yeah,
in
I
answer
don't
to your
know.
question, Maurice LaMarche as Clamps, Donbot, Hyper Chicken, Calculon, Hedonism Bot, and Morbo.
Oh, wow. Wait,
Morbo's
was
not in this
Morbo
episode.
in this episode?
For some reason, it didn't.
Is
click.
there not a news report or something at the
Yeah,
beginning?
at the
There
beginning.
is. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, talking
yes,
about
about
Calculon.
Calculon being mysteriously clamped. I love, there's certain lines I really love in this one. Like, I think snitch juice
Snitch
juice. Pretty good.
is just a great fucking term. And like, I want a band to be called Snitch Juice. I'm not going to start a band because I'm busy. But if someone out there wants to start a band and call it Snitch Juice,
Let us know.
please let us know.
I quite liked the Amy was going to have sex with Kif on a burning flag. That was kind of
I don't
like
really get that. Why is that?
as
That
an
would be
attack
very-
at like they're like liberals from the city.
Right, yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
from so
Yeah.
I did
that
like
quite
that,
liked.
although it's quite hot.
Yeah, it
You're
is.
going to get some like,
Yeah,
but
it's like,
third
whoa.
degree burns hot, not like,
Very.
oh yeah, baby, take off all that skin.
Yeah.
Hermes
Permanent scar. Yeah.
Hermes' line that's in reflection of Billy West's and everyone's accent, which is just like, stop talking like that. You live on the moon.
Yeah, yes. Well, you're the spaceman that came from the sky.
Yeah, I think that's what he's more annoyed about, the fact that he doesn't know what a spaceship is despite living on the moon.
And this is the first time we've seen Luna Park since the series has landed.
Yeah.
Do we even see Luna Park?
Yeah, they fly
Yeah.
over it.
But how cute is the Crushinator and Billy's baby?
The little-
no,
Oh,
it's
with his
You
tiny
lost your
bottle.
mind when that was on screen.
Sorry,
You were
it
like,
was so
adorable.
cute.
I
It was the
mean-
perfect blend of both of them, and it had
Little
its little
pink
baby
Crushinator
oil
baby.
can. It was like waving its oil can.
Like Billy West at one point was like he was feeding the oil in, and then in the next shot he's just grabbed it himself and he's or she
Oh my god!
just drinking away.
That baby lost its father,
Yeah.
and everyone at the end is like, "Yay!
a father
Yay,
and a
no,
husband.
No consequences. Woo!"
On
Did
to
you
the
count
next.
birds as a death count? Do you count
That's
people?
actually two more. So the death
but
count is now on 12.
Is death just death in general, so it doesn't count for just people or robots? It's any organic life.
If we see it
Or
and
I
it's
guess
very clearly a
in
death, like the birds would count.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
very clearly dead
What about
birds.
all those lobsters in that water trough?
They might get back
They were
into the
great.
water.
I liked them.
He only bumped into the water, so they might climb back in.
Maybe,
If you can tell me how many lobsters there were, I'll add them to the tally.
I think there were like 8.
A Zoidberg
Okay,
full.
so
Yeah.
that rounds it out to 20.
Nice. We did it.
Speaking of that weird lobster joke, there are just enough jokes in this, not too many, of of like their surrealist humor.
Yeah.
Oh my
of
God,
like
I have
non
one.
sequitur
Yeah.
humor, like the baby.
You know, I was gonna say that one. Yeah, the quick, cut this.
Someone cut
baby's-
the cord.
Yeah,
His baby appears. Yeah.
Yeah.
where was
just
the
like-
cord going to?
Whose baby is that?
Why?
Of all places, why are they at the Planet Express?
Terrible place to
Maybe
give birth.
it was a delivery from the stork.
Maybe it's Hattie McDougal.
Who?
What? Why?
Because Farnsworth has been at her place
yeah.
before, and they've had a bit of a rendezvous.
That's
So.
true.
Do you think she's
And
really?
Hattie McDougal has a share in Planet Express.
That's true.
Phil, Bender's functions. Is there anything today?
He has special robot vision.
Yeah.
She can use to see
I
inside packages.
I knew that was going to happen, and yet when it happened, I just laughed so hard.
Of course, it's quite similar to his other eye zooming function that he's displayed in the past, just
Yeah.
a slightly different application.
Yeah.
I mean, again, similar application where is if he's aroused, his antenna springs. He can cook meatballs in his cavity, which he does.
Same.
Yeah.
It's not a function, but we get to see the inside of the back of a bending unit.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
kind of
he
how
has a
their
hard
memory
drive. With a hard
is.
drive.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't even have a solid
Well-
state hard drive, Paul.
Well, but do
it's not Bender.
I was gonna
That's
say-
Billy
But
West.
that might be, but they
But
to the
is
point
Billy-
where they believed it to be Bender.
Yes,
so
that's
But
true,
is
yeah.
Billy West a bending robot? He says, "I can't even lift that."
Yeah.
I don't. Is
And
he,
his father
can he
was
bend?
a
Was a
forklift.
forklift.
But then
Yeah.
again, Bender's mother is just that one arm that made.
Yeah,
um,
robot family kind of heritage is quite.
yeah, the genealogy is weird.
Pretty
Yes.
weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Also, like, are they made through other robots, or are they made by just an assembly line?
Both.
Well, yeah.
All of them
Assembly
mums
lines
are
are.
mums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
So,
Mom
like-
is all of their mums.
yeah. Is the Crushinator's baby? Is it just given to them by mum, and that just becomes?
maybe
baby.
you can like use like I'm thinking kind of Steven Universe logic, right? Which in Steven Universe, like one of the gems gives up her physical body to then become Steven, sort of, right? But like I'm thinking maybe the robots could potentially take parts of themselves, like spare parts, like combine them together, and then you get.
Do robots grow as well? I guess Bender
I thought
does.
you were
There
going
is
to
a
say
tiny.
fuck, but
Do robots
There is a-
fuck?
Clearly, robots.
Well, Bender
are
says
fucked.
he's great at sex, so
And Bender does have a smaller baby form of himself.
Yeah.
yes.
So yes.
So they grow. They must grow.
Does that
right?
mean you have to like keep replacing parts?
do robot teens have wet dreams?
We're just rewriting sci-fi classics? I love it. I love it so much.
Proud of that joke.
I can tell.
Oh, it can be funny.
Also, why
You're
the
done. Your job's
Yeah,
finished.
that's
You can
it.
get-
Guys, I'll catch you later.
also, why does Clamps have to go to 4 fucking years of Clamp school for
For this.
this?
He has an honours degree.
There's a lot to learn.
An honours degree in
clamps.
Well, I guess because he can clamp, but he can also snip. He can crimp.
That's true.
So yeah,
Clamp has a lot of function.
Yeah, let's have another segment. Clamps functions.
I think we
Phil.
just listed them all.
He can crimp,
Yeah.
Clamp,
snip,
snip,
crush.
Crush, kill bird, kill bird.
Is that
I
it?
think
He
that's
can
it.
point.
Yes.
He can point.
Can point, yeah.
He can
grab.
rotate them.
Yeah.
That's
I like
not-
it when they spin.
Yeah.
He can
It's
grab,
very
he
menacing.
can lift, he can... So many
He can
applications
rotate.
for the
Anyone can
clamp.
fucking lift.
He can
well, apart from-
repair because he
West.
puts the old clamps off
Yeah.
and the new clamps on.
The sound you just made reminded me of the joke when they're all looking at the farm, and Fry's like, "Oh, in case there are any Mafia scuzzballs around," he just goes,
It's such a good reaction.
Make a noise.
so expressive. I love it.
How did we feel about the fucking swearing in this fucking
The beep,
episode?
that's how much beeping. Have they ever done that before in
No,
Futurama?
No,
it's like
I
it made me just think of like old mob movies. I think it's like a harken back to things like Godfellas and things where it's just like all them like because it starts off with clamps,
Merry
Clamps is the one that
Christmas,
someone else
you
starts doing
filthy
it.
animal.
Yeah.
which is all in reference to clamps. Like Zoidberg says, I'm John fucking Zoidberg.
Yes. Yeah.
I did find it funny when Zoidberg rallied with that, but like I found the swearing just to honestly be a bit jarring. Like I think if you have to censor it out, then it can't be anything but jarring unless you're using it as a gag. Like I'm thinking Scott Pilgrim, like the black censor bar
I was expecting it to be the beeping was just the sound that
or
Clamps
something
made.
like that.
Oh,
But
really?
like,
Yeah,
but the fact that
because you never hear it
they just
before.
beeped out profanity, I'm like, I don't know. It just felt really weird for me, and I didn't really find it that funny until they did do the Zoidberg thing.
It threw me for a loop a little bit, and I thought they were going to make a meta joke out of it.
That's what I thought as well.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it just made me think of either old like kind of cop shows or mafia movies or like all those things.
I mean,
where
but when I think of like
out.
the mafia that they're styled after, like clearly they're 20s kind of gangsters, right? And like I just think you have more fun wordplay, like like snitch juice, or like I'm an idiot guy. He would do that kind of like I don't know. I just think there's more fun to be instead of going for like the bleep, like
the bleeps,
because swearing is fucking funny, right? We all know this,
Yeah.
but like censored swearing is not. Unless you like,
I found it funny.
I steered into it because of what Phil you were talking about earlier, how it gets absurd. And this to me felt like a meta steer into absurdity. So like the show is going like, Clamps has been thrown into a building and then he comes out and he's full of like little anvils covering him.
Clamps. He's covered in
He's
clamps.
covered in clamps.
Yeah.
And then Zoidberg goes and gets covered in little lobsters. Like that's absurd and it's stupidity, and the character's name is Billy West and we're already breaking fourth wall.
Yeah.
So like that to me is a steer into fourth wall kind of absurdity.
Yeah.
Which
Possibly.
is useful because you've got a pretty like the storyline's funny and good, but it's also really streamlined.
Yeah,
Like
it's
this
not-
has
100%.
no second plot.
No.
There's no B plot.
No,
No.
At all.
You
Except
might,
for
think that
Zoidberg.
Zoidberg is, but he's
But
so
he's still
tied to the
so-
primary
Yeah.
plot that there is none.
Zoidberg's so necessary.
So it's like it's a really concise plot. So that means the comedy and the non sequiturs have to keep coming, and they run out. I think at around the moon place. So then you steer into like what's the next step is like fourth wall breaking and like absurdity.
The montage is a slight diversion from the main plot, but it's worth it and it's quite short.
Which montage?
What's montage again?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Fry goes, "Hey, do you want to come over and play?"
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
And
Do
they
you
like
want to play with me?
they make like
Oh.
a statue of Bender, which
Yeah,
he
and he
clamps.
clamps.
He does something. He does like,
they play
Colonel
Jenga?
Mustard. Colonel
Yeah.
Mustard gas.
They're playing
and they play
Jenga.
Jenga.
And then he just
plays
brushes the
Jenga.
Jenga,
right.
Yeah, and he
smashes
smashes
it.
it, and that makes Fry
There you go.
Yeah.
That's another function. The clamps can smash.
Smash! You can smash Jenga towers. I love that Fry has such a great time with that,
Well,
and he
it's
even says like
clearly-
he's a better friend than Bender.
Well,
is.
it's clearly like he's been living with Bender, who is very abusive to him. He's just conditioned to accept
He wants
that.
a Robert friend.
A Robert.
Yeah.
But that time, actually, that's when the swearing starts, right? Because
Well, because
Clamps
Zoidberg-
is so annoyed by having to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he says. 4 fucking years of Clamps
Yeah.
to hang out with Fry.
No, he doesn't
Well,
say
he doesn't
for
say
fucking
for
years.
fucking.
It's when Zoidberg gets at him for the first time. He's
Yeah.
like, "I'm sorry about before, but blah blah."
Oh,
And
yeah.
then he pushes them against.
Yeah,
He's like,
that's why
"You
Fuck.
Also, by the way, just because we've been talking about him, for me, the MVP, Zoidberg.
Zoidberg, yeah. of
God.
course.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
God! I can't believe we haven't talked about
This is the-
Zoidberg yet.
I think this is like kind of the best I've enjoyed Zoidberg, and I enjoy him almost every time he's
Yeah.
on my damn screen.
Him coming out like as soon as I saw a saloon, I was like, but I thought they were gonna like do the whole Western, like kick down the door swings,
All the windows shut.
all the music stops, everyone turns.
Quite like the tumbleweed moment.
Yeah,
and,
but
him
he-
heroing the fuck up with his little crest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
the line is
Well, his
so
head is
good
cracking.
as well.
His head is
'Cause
cracking.
He's saying
so
it's
fucking disgusting.
It's gonna be like an all-you-can-eat lobster buffet, and he goes, "That was a I don't
For
know
a
what
limited
voice I'm doing.
time
only.
Yeah.
That
And
was
then,
for a limited time only.
and then like the comb comes up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking
Although
cool.
It's good that it's set. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, but if he cracked open, Zoidberg is pink on the inside. Oh,
yeah.
We've seen it
He's
before.
pink and jelly-like.
Yeah, but you were saying, Phil.
Yes.
That it's nice piece of writing the way it's set up, right? They set up their rivalry really early on
Yeah.
with that scene that we're talking about where he grabs him by
Cuts
the
the
neck
baby.
and swears at him and also he kind of usurps his position and it sets up this rivalry that pays off in the showdown
Yeah.
really, really
But
well.
it is
You're
also
invested
so
by that point.
It's
Yeah.
so in keeping with Zoidberg as a character. He is so insanely jealous about really minute things, and he cares about he's like, this is the one thing I have in this group, damn it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the
one
only
thing.
reason he's tolerated.
I was going to say is he doesn't get a lot, so he's got to really fight for his claim.
And also,
He
he's a
is a
very
doctor.
adept fighter. Like, every
Yes.
time
Yes.
Zoidberg's been in a fight, he ripped Fry's arm off.
That's
Yeah.
right.
He's defeated Giant Bender in Anthology of Interest.
He does have a large exoskeleton.
He
so,
does.
like,
Yeah.
that's
and
not for
great
nothing.
strength.
I bet if I had my skeleton on the outside, I could really fuck someone up too.
Great strength. Not just good strength.
Great
Great.
strength.
Strength plus 2.
It's great strength.
And now, of course, the final joke is Zoidberg's as well, where Bender just goes, "I'll cut up this pizza," and he goes, "Try it, and I'll gut you like a fish."
Oh
And
my
you see
everyone's
God.
reaction,
And
just
him-
like,
him-
whoa.
Him, like, it's a total power move because he's cutting, but
He's
he's not cutting
eyeballing everyone.
super fast, and he's just looking at everyone as he
And
cuts
you
the
see
pizza.
Bender's
as
like
if-
his little like sit down
Yeah,
and look
Bender
around.
sits
He does this quick
down.
like, what the fuck is
Bender
going on?
never-
Has it been ever backed down like that before?
No.
He's just like, I'm not touching this one.
Yeah, he's clearly like been away for I don't know
That's right.
a week. And
What
he's just
happened
like,
when I was gone?
I know what happened though when I was gone. It's a truly dreadful.
It's a very
story.
Italian episode. That they find him in a pizza bar as well. I think it's
And
very,
also
an
the
Italian American
Which
And
style
would be
pizza
also-
bar.
the Signoids
Yeah, that's
pizza
right.
bar as
And
well.
also the fact that one thing that gets you killed by the Dombot is trying to recreate his grandmother's meatball
recipe.
It did make me want meatballs. I'm
I
very
mean, it's
hungry.
just
Yeah, we'll get some
mincemeat,
after.
breadcrumbs, and like fucking
yes,
seasoning.
thank
It's
you,
not
Chris.
that hard.
I'm feeding you,
Can
Sean.
we actually get meatballs
Yeah,
after
yeah,
this?
of course.
Oh, yes.
I can't.
Why not?
I know, because you have
Vegetarian.
to go.
That
Oh.
doesn't mean you can't.
You could
It just
get
means you
feet balls.
I
shouldn't.
shan't.
Shouldn't. You
Yeah.
shan't.
Hey, nice.
What?
Get feet balls.
Hey.
Fake meatballs.
Ugh.
Don't call
That's
them that.
really badly named. Are they called that?
We had
God, there's a marketing
we had,
issue here.
So you missed
Tarantino
this.
loves them,
you
though.
missed this, but at Kung Food this week.
Kung food.
Kung food, get it?
Do listeners know about
No,
Kung
they
Fu?
don't. So every Wednesday,
Contextualize yourselves.
I go over to Phil and Faith's house and we engage with many others in Kung Fu, followed by dinner together, and
We take turns cooking
and
from
we
different
call
regions.
We call it Kung Food.
Kung Food. It's great.
There you go.
So
Context
when you
given.
said you went over to their house and you engaged, I was like in
In a thruple.
sex,
in friendly horseplay.
Nothing.
Well,
horseplay.
sometimes.
we played together.
That's right.
Phil.
We learned together.
But our vegetarian cooked, our resident vegetarian cooked, and she had fake duck.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Thank you for finishing that joke for me, guys. Perfect. I want to do some favourite highlights,
Okay.
please, because
Also
there's so many
fashion
things.
corner.
There's the violin and cello bots. There is Calculon saying, "This song's for you guys. It's all about you today. Who's that singing at your wedding? It's Calculon," which is just such a brilliant character moment. There's a $50 reward for snitching on the Mafia, which is all it takes to get Bender on board. The Hyper Chicken being back and saying, "The prosecution roosts." It's just brilliant. Well, there'll never be another like him. Now let's hire someone better. Stay off my turf.
Yeah, Zoidberg.
I refuse to believe anyone is happy.
I thought also true.
Yes, and my
That's funny and true.
Y'all are pretending.
My favorite visual joke in the saloon. There is a self-playing piano.
Yeah, I noticed
Oh.
that.
Which actually has arms, which plays
and it's
itself.
it's a self-playing piano.
Yes.
I was going
Yeah.
to say my favorite part of the saloon is that old flapper just giving it all she's got. She's just
with the robot eye. The fucking
But also, good on her.
Yeah, she's
fucking,
in a wheelchair.
She's
but
making
she's
her
just
living.
like,
Nothing's
she's still
stopping
doing
her.
the can.
And clearly, there's a lot of people that still want to fucking see her.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
hell yeah.
service.
Her
Service
robot eye
with a
reminded me
smile.
of the Warhammer 40k universe. That's where my brain goes.
Besides things that you've already said, my favorite moment is oh, you did that already. Where Leela said, okay, yes, now let's just if you go to the police and give a tastefully edited version of what you just said.
Yes.
And then the officer responding back with the tastefully edited part as
Yes.
well. I like that part as well.
No. The aforementioned burglar Rasa. It's so great I can't pronounce it.
Which he's on trial for in the neighbouring court.
Yeah, with Judge 812, I think.
Yeah.
And that's another function. I like that you can be in 2 court cases simultaneously, and it's rigged up that way.
Very necessary sometimes.
The various ways that Bender tries to obscure his identity, which is the funhouse mirror that can both blow your face up and thin you out. But also when it goes down, he puts a picture of Fry up.
his face.
And the
Such a
cutest
bad
moment,
friend.
which we've mentioned, which is little baby Crushinator.
Crushinator.
Adorable.
Just quick fashion corner.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's technically their bodies, but whatever. Cello bots, and I think that I like the design of the cello bot much
They're
more.
great. I
Mainly
saw them
because-
in the corner as soon as
yeah,
I'm
because
glad they got
mainly
their own shot.
it does like go with the form of a cello or any string instrument that, you know, you have the head and then the long neck and then the body. It's a nice design and I really dig it. I love Bella's outfits, not only the one for I just love conceptually that her skirt is a bell. That is great. Because bell bottoms, anyone?
No.
But anyway, like, she's got like a kind of pink ruched number. It's quite cute. But then her black dress that Dombot tells her to wear for her wedding, since he's going to kill Bender, is fucking really cool. I don't know. It's just very dramatic.
Very nice,
like,
Old West.
Yeah. And also, obviously all the Old West, the Old West flapper and
And
overalls.
Bender wears like a Russian mobster's
Oh yeah,
like
he does
jumpsuit.
too.
Like, he wears like a
But
tracksuit. Yeah.
that's not making a
With
mention in here
chains.
because
With
I
his slicked back head.
hate
Yeah.
velour with the passion.
Do you really?
Yes.
I love it.
Velour.
A double velour sweatsuit.
Honestly, look, if I could live in Russia and be like one of those guys smoking, drinking vodka, and like
Doing
hanging
squats.
out, I would do that for the rest of my life. But I don't
When's
speak
your-
Russian.
When's your birthday?
Duh.
Next year,
Okay.
You
I
can
can-
say Suka Bliatza.
I know-
in like 300 days.
I know
Okay,
how to
I'll go
say-
get it for you.
I can teach you how to say I can't speak Russian.
How?
Я не говорю по-русски.
I know how to say bitch
Dostoevsky.
and suck my dick. So-
That's not going to
That
go
won't get
down
you
well.
Years
very
of
far.
online gaming have taught us well.
Russians
That's right.
are very stern people.
Bitch
They will
is-
not take that
Bitch
well.
is suka,
Suka.
and suck my dick is bliat. 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 Bliat.
Suka bliat.
Suka
Suck my
bliat.
dick, please.
Suck my dick,
Sacre
bitch.
bleu.
Yeah.
So, Chris, before we
Or
move on to
your head towards my dick.
before we move on
It's
to
a
the
more
vote,
accurate
do you have any
translation.
favourite moments, Chris?
I do. I love the Space Pope. I love that as a character. Space Pope. I just like the Space Pope. I just like Bender as a dickhead walking around in that party being like, you're my third choice. It
works.
Power move right there. I love it.
works.
I love the kind of Italian-American stereotype hyped to the top. Hey, you like the episode.
I'm allowed to.
The Don Bot.
Everyone else must hate it.
That's right. The Don Bot and Freddie Mousepad doing the kind of
Joey Mousepad.
Joey Mousepad, rather. The language choices. I think one of the quotes is like, "May I help you with some assistance?" Is like great. So it's like it's nice writing. And it draws attention to itself, and I don't think it's punching down, and it's good, and you know it's fun.
I like that Calculon starts slipping into Joey Mousepad's accent when he's
that's
reciting
right.
what he's been
That's
told
right,
to
that's
say.
right. And he does the little hand, the cheek pat with his hand.
Perfect.
I actually just really like this
Which is
episode.
something some actor type guy like me would say.
Yes.
Okay, let's head on to a vote, and I'm happy to go first on this one. On my crusade to apparently untopple the late Philip J. Fry, which I seem to do constantly.
Untopple it?
Untopple it? To topple it. You
Yes.
can topple it.
You just
No,
want to
topple.
topple it. Yeah, you don't need to
topple it.
untopple
No, you
it.
don't need to untopple it.
You
Yeah,
want-
that would make it more
But you
firm
I thought you said untopple.
Sean's
No.
a top.
to top it. I am.
Please, when you edit this, if he says untopple, just highlight that shit, please.
Yeah, play it
'Cause-
10 times.
Untopple!
I won't, Phil. He did, and you're being weird.
But also, I'm editing it this time.
Oh yeah, you are too. You're editing.
Dang.
Apparently untoppled. Anyway, I'm actually
Sure way to
going for
make
this
yourself-
episode.
Okay, great.
I similar to the Da Vinci Code. Da Vinci Code, thank you. It's just a really fun episode for me, and I'm at a time in my life where I love the episodes that make me laugh. It doesn't need the emotional weight because this episode doesn't have an emotional weight like a lot of Futurama
Yes,
episodes.
we all know the comedy crisis of your late 20s.
Yes, you feel you've been through it.
Yes, it's long. It's behind me now. Yeah.
I should
I
tell.
went through my stand-up phase.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
Where
Zoidberg.
have you been, Phil? I haven't been going to those stand-up comedies, I swear.
Is that red brick on your back? Have you been standing up against the red brick wall?
Phil,
Yes.
what about those airplanes?
What?
And their food. Sean is wearing a Chewbacca
Sean,
shirt,
don't make
by
me.
the way.
Don't make me, Sean. Yeah, I absolutely did. Zoidberg's at his absolute best. I really dig a lot of the Mafia episodes, like Bender Gets Made and a lot of those classics episodes. It feels like a harkening back to that. I have really turned around on Joey Mousepad. I always used to think he was the most unfunny of the three of them, but he really isn't. He's a gem. And I never would think that Clamps would be a central character. Or a really highlighted character, but it just goes really well. It's a really well-crafted episode, I think, and the jokes are thick and fast, and I'm happy.
So I'm sticking with Philip J. Fry, the late Philip J. Fry, mainly for the emotional content of that episode. I think it demonstrates what's truly possible for the writing of the show when they hit their emotional beats as well as their comedy beats. It also is a very tight episode in terms of its time travel plot as well. So while this episode is absolutely hilarious and features a bunch of my favorite characters in it, and is tightly plotted, I just think the late Philip J. Fry shows the true potential of the show to hit the heartstrings at the same time as the comedy, and and because of that, it's more representative of being a best Futurama episode.
I'm conflicted, you guys. No, I do know who I'm voting for. It's the late Philip J. Fry, but I'm really like, it was hard to not vote for this one because, like you said, Sean, it's just fun, and I think the like rapid fire of the jokes is really good. Like, yes, sure, some fall flat. Not every single joke is ever going to land perfectly, but like just the tightness of this episode, just in terms of plot. Like, you know how we're always complaining about, well, not always, but sometimes the issue with an episode we find is that, you know, they either try to put too many different running plots in, and then it's kind of, the ratio is messed up between what we actually want to see and what we are seeing. Whereas this one, it's just, hey, here's one story, boom, here you go, bada bing, bada boom, throw some Italians in there, mwah.
Forget about it.
Forget about it. And yeah, it's just funny and light, and really keeps my attention for the whole, like, you know, there's not a time that I would try and have a second screen experience or anything like that.
Yeah.
However, Philip J. Fry is, I think, just as tight plot-wise, and it also has the, you know, the heartstring running through, and some really devastatingly beautiful emotional moments as well. It's not just, you know, we think of Jurassic Park, and we think, oh man, I just remember how sad I am watching that. Like, it's somber, but it's also it's beautiful.
It's got a philosophical beauty to it as well. The witnessing the end of the universe is always just like,
and the fact that you know, just because you don't get to spend the time with someone that you like doesn't mean it wasn't worth it. And I think that's it's a really important message.
And Chris, just quickly before you give your deciding vote, I just wanted to say on top of that is what's great about both Philip J. Fry and this episode is that because there isn't really a secondary plot, like it's tied into the first plot, is that the resolution resonates more. Like they're not having to tie up a lot of different plots in a satisfactory way because they're just focusing on the one. They can really finalize it in a way that feels like a conclusion, and it's not, they don't let any balls drop. It's just, we just have that tight, streamlined, focused episode. We go, cool, this is our conclusion, and we stick by it. We don't have to worry about anything else that's in the air.
By that logic, I also think the jokes are funnier because I don't know. I like jokes when it's kind of, I mean, most of them are really absurd and like non sequiturs, but they are still within the, you know, they're still woven into like the narrative. Like, sure, we have like a brief like lobsters, but like, it's part of the parcel. Like, it's not, you know, it's not a C plot coming in to the A plot. And we're just like, what the fuck?
So this is hard because I like both of these episodes.
Boo,
for
you're not allowed to.
different
Pick
reasons.
one.
Well, no, for the same reason, and that whatever I watch, whenever I consume kind of media stuff, I like it to be tight and concise and on point. Toit, like a toiger. And I was thinking about it just then, about how this episode starts with, who likes good news? Everyone. And then the next joke following that is that they're not going to a different planet. It's here on Earth. And Fry's response is, Earth can be dangerous. I once fell off a chair on Earth and then falls off a chair.
Ow,
at Earth. I didn't laugh at that first, like when I saw it, I was like, ugh, I don't want to watch this. It's going to be bad non sequiturs, but it's not.
But
this episode is so good for its absurd comedy, and that it steers 100% into it, and that's what I like about this. It doesn't hold anything back. It doesn't try and like it's not trying to be like hard sci-fi or even like tech, particularly like detailed. It's going like, this is absurd. This is silly. A baby umbilical cord, snip. Swear words, lobsters in a thing. It's all, there's a tumbleweed on the moon. It's just silly, and that's what's good about it. And I'd watch it again. But I think a better crafted episode is the late Philip J. Fry. I love this episode, and I didn't think I would because I knew it was coming up, and I remember having bad memories of this episode and not liking it the first time round. I love this episode. This might be in my top 10 now, but
Philip J. Fry is also in your top 10.
Is maybe in my top 3 or 2.
Whoa.
Wow.
So
Fuck.
It's
That's toy.
It's like choosing between my children. One is funny and one is smart. And as a reflection on myself, I've condemned the funny one to death.
And just to clarify, none of your decision making is because if you had have tied, we're fucked.
Again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. My decision making is not based on that whatsoever.
We get fucked. Plenty of times.
That's right.
What did you do for a when you have your gender reveal for your children? How do you show that it's funny and the other one's smart?
If it's funny, a balloon bursts and there are glasses, like big, hard framed glasses that fall from the sky.
Okay.
And if it's funny, the balloon bursts and clown was in there the whole time, and it scares all the people.
That's brilliant. I think actually that's what happens when your child is like a...
It's scary.
Yeah, I'm having a scary...
Serial killer in the future.
This gets me to double down on something that is becoming increasingly clear, is that this season's good.
Yeah.
It's great.
Because what's funny is we mentioned this a few weeks ago, and Chris was saying, just wait, because there are some horrible ones or bad ones coming up. And one of the ones that you thought was potentially bad was this one.
Oh,
this
really?
is so long, though. There's so many episodes in these seasons.
Yeah,
But
there's
still
bound
it's-
to be a few stinkers.
Yeah.
But
As there are in every season. But
Yeah.
I just feel like this season, apparently, I just think it gets a bad rap. Like, so far I've been very, very pleasantly surprised by this season. I'm playing footsies with someone, sorry.
that was me.
Okay.
Who am I playing footsie with then? The one I was going to
it's
say
not
something
Phil.
about another episode in this season.
Yeah.
You remember when we did the Comic-Con episode where they do Futurama?
Oh, that was
The one with Lur.
irreconcilable in differences.
That one. Remember that one?
Yes.
This is that episode, but done better. It's a secondary character, a totally minor character, taking the lead role.
Yes.
And it's done... And the other episode was just full of non sequiturs as well.
Because they're
Yeah.
experimenting more.
But this is better.
This is way better.
This is so much better. How, I think like, I don't know. I just wanted to say
I
that
think
for reasons,
just
I guess.
generally in comedy, not punching down works in your favor. Like,
Clamps is
Weird.
just a more fun character than
Yeah.
the...
Yeah.
Like, it's just way
He's
more
very
fun.
simple too. It's like
Yeah.
it's about the clamps. It's always about the clamps with everything he does.
It's about the clan.
That sounds like a sitcom.
It does.
It's about the clamps.
Or a clamp-like device.
Or clamp like Vice.
what is a clamp-like device?
I don't know. He says it in one of the other
It's just
episodes.
clamps.
A lot.
A stapler.
A crimper, maybe,
Yeah.
for hair.
Now, what I want to start doing is, now that we're in the new series and we're reflecting back on classic Futurama, I want to reflect back on voices. So I want to see if we've gotten any better on some of the classic ones we did near the beginning. So we're going to start,
Is this because we've run out of voices, Sean?
maybe,
Okay.
we're going to start with Bender.
Can we do Billy
Can't
West
do-
instead?
Billy West?
Hey, I'm just
The
Billy
robot.
West. I'm just
robot.
a
Billy
farmer.
West, the
Well, in that
robot
case,
on the moon.
if we're doing that, we have to take out
Shucks.
everything I just said.
Oh, we don't have to.
I
You have
can-
to. We
I
can just-
will.
You can just have us telling you you're hilariously wrong.
Yeah.
Do you,
Sean, you're
we can do-
hilariously wrong.
What would you like
Nice.
to do? We can do Billy West instead. That's a new voice in the guise of an old voice, which is what we were going to do with Bender.
Sure.
Dude, if you don't want to do it, it's okay.
So
Like-
Christ.
I was like thinking about this before the episode. I'm like, cool,
Oh,
I really want
Sean,
to do
I'm
this as the
sorry.
thing going forward and going, but it's just like, no one cares.
Nah.
It's like, well,
No, I just because you said Bender, I was like, we could do Billy West because that's the Bender character doing a different voice.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's
Okay.
so
I mean,
I'm
disappointed.
sorry. I don't
Let's-
like it
let's
when
do
you're
that.
sad.
I mean, do you
I'm
even want
sorry.
to do the voice at all, Sean?
I can't even lift it.
Shall
which is
we
fine.
cry instead?
Let's try instead.
I'm gonna do Billy West.
Yeah,
you guys can suck it.
I'm having fun.
I can barely lift it,
I don't
which
know-
is funny considering my
My daddy.
father was a forklift.
Let me drive you to town in the. I don't know.
In the old clunker.
In the old
Old
clunker. My Billy West voice has just become. There's like a scene in Parks and Rec when they do old people voices, and Chris Pratt's line is, "Sometimes my testicles dangle in the water. What happens if I flush them on accident?"
Well, I guess you're the spaceman from the sky, so
Damn it, you stole my line.
I know.
Oh,
it's
what
the
else
only-
he's got?
It's the only other one I can remember.
Yeah.
The name's Billy West.
The name's Billy West. What kind of stupid name is that? What kind of made-up name
Dumb
is that?
made-up
Dumb
name.
made-up name. Oh, dear.
Oh, it's not. It's a lame joke, but by God, it works.
Shall we try our silliest laugh?
It's just my laugh.
I like your
that is a
insincere laugh. It's like
ridiculous laugh.
And just to appease me, let's do Bender.
okay. You can choose which ones. Do both. Leave it all in.
It's me, Bender.
What the fuck was that?
I'm not gonna pay you out because
it.
what's coming from me is not any
I can't
Bender.
do it.
Shut up, baby. I know
Damn
it. You gotta jump in fast, otherwise everyone's gonna steal your quote.
I'm made of 30% dolomite.
Clang.
Can you insert the like meaty thud that happened there?
By my shiny metal ass.
Nice.
I actually think you were the best at the four.
I don't think so.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
And so,
I'm
guys,
Italian now.
before we forget about it, if you would like to email us, you can do so by emailing us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com.
You can find us on Facebook, which I manage. I put posts about my favourite Overwatch teams and other random stuff.
You do manage, don't you?
yeah.
Phil? You get by.
Yeah, I get by.
He gets
I get
by.
by. But we'd love to hear from you on there.
On Facebook?
Yeah,
Yeah.
please do. Just find us there and drop us a line.
And if you're looking for a more visual representation of our brand, chuck us a like on Instagram. That's my bag. Yes, you can see things like we're actually doing a time lapse of this very recording. It's about to get weird for like a second and a half. And I also put sometimes glimpses of what we're working on. Sometimes I just put random memes, things that amuse me, whatever. But I also do polls. So if you want to get in on a Baby Beard poll, and I'll probably give you a shout out in the episode, do so. Get on our Instagram. Chris, what else we got?
We got a YouTube channel.
Oh,
I know.
great.
I'm going to be releasing a video essay on Disenchantment, the Netflix show. I'm going to do that. Definitely going to do that.
It's on record now.
Yeah, I've got to do it. I've
Come
committed
back
myself to
out.
it.
I'm the one that, do you want me to take that out?
No. Leave it in. Leave it in. I've got the script written. I've got the microphones and like a whole bunch of I've got $1,000 worth of recording equipment.
And you got your editor.
And I have not done it, but I
Okay.
will
You
now.
will, you will,
I've
though.
committed
You'll get
myself to
there.
it.
Great.
We have a YouTube account. Come check it out. We've got some Let's Plays coming up. Video games.
Way.
We fucking love video games, so we're going to play some. So we also have a Twitter, which Sean runs.
Yes,
don't you,
we
Sean?
do. So I run the Twitter account. So if you'd like to talk to us about anything, that's the third place you can get in contact with us for any reasons.
We're
On top
very
of that,
contactable.
just guys, as I say, it is a hassle. I know it's 2 minutes of your time, but please, the best way you can help us is by going onto that podcast app or iTunes directly, giving us the 5 stars, the rating, the review. It helps us get seen and listened to, more importantly, by more people, which skyrockets us to the top and fucks with the algorithm, which is exactly what we want.
Yeah.
Also,
Down with the man.
What's the thing that you say, Phil? If you want...
If you like what we do, please rate and review.
Yeah.
Oh.
there you go,
5 stars.
Yeah.
5 stars.
5 stars.
5 stars.
And finally, check out www.alotagreen.com.au, which is the podcasting network that we are a part of. Besides Shut Up and Take My Podcast, there's a lot of great other shows on there, Australian, for you to consume. Pods in the Key of Springfield, Dicey Endeavours,
Mad Beef, which is a skating podcast.
Let's
Lots of cool
talk
stuff on there.
about sex.
Sex,
Yeah.
SECTS. So
The Art of Touring. It's a great podcast.
which
Lots
is
of cool
so
stuff on there.
there's something for, honestly, there is something for
if
everyone.
you like a thing, go to A Lot of Green and you'll find
They'll
an
have
Australian podcast that deals specifically with that.
So-
It's incredible.
Yeah, and guys, speaking of A Lot of Green, another one of the newest additions to A Lot of Green, One Good Thing, our good friends, will be
Yay.
joining us once again next week on Shut Up and Take My Podcast as we attack Mobius Dick.
That's a swear word, Sean.
Oh, we'll have to
dear.
censor
You've
that.
fucked up.
Fuck.
What do you do if your name's Richard?
Yeah.
You tell people to go suck it.
You rule the earth.
Go suck a Richard? That
Go
doesn't
suck a
sound
Richard.
right.
Taste a Richard in your mouth.
And until that time, I have been Francis X. Sean.
Time to hire someone better. I've been Phil.
I've been Ellen, you know? We had an affair.
And I've been Chris, Space Pope.
Oh,
All
you
praise.
look like
All
a
hail.
lizard.
I do look like...
It's very good for, you know.
an audio medium.
I was going to say catchy, but...
Oh, yeah, bye, guys.
Oh,
Ciao, bow.
Sean.
Who's been on my
Chris.
Sean.
Chris.
Who's been on my mic?
What's up?
Stop being disgusting, everyone, for just one fucking second.
Can't do that.
Chris.
Hello.
Talk.
Hi, it's me, Chris, talking into a microphone.
It's you, Chris, talking into a microphone.
Oh.
Now with talking into microphone action.
Oh, Ellen, your turn.
What? I'm here. What more do you want from me? Fucking hell.
I had a super awkward moment out of many awkward moments in my life.
Go
and the
on.
latest iteration was I had just come out of the service station and I had a coffee in my hand and I walked towards my car. So I'm looking at the top of it. It's got like one of those little shade barriers on. I'm going, that's not usually on my car. I'm not very perceptive about my car. And so I open the car door. I'm like, the handle feels weird. And I open the car door.
God.
And there's a middle-aged woman in there reaching into the back to like deal with her child's seat. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I don't know any middle-aged women.
Sean,
I don't have a child.
And I shut the door
be really weird.
as I'm driving away. This is weird.
Yeah, it would be really weird if you got to not even your house, but like their house, and you're just like,
this isn't my house.
This is not my beautiful wife.
In other news,
Great.
Sean is now facing charges.
Yes. No, but if we'd done a full swap, we'd have like Michael here or something.
No, the middle-aged
Sharon.
woman. Or the
Sharon.
child. She's really angry that we wasted our time watching cartoons when we should be out in the workforce. She'd like to speak to our manager.
I thought you meant like treat
That's
us
Karen.
like teenagers.
Oh,
like,
sorry, you're right.
why are we inside watching Futurama when we could be outside playing
Fu-
in the sun?
Watching the sun gives you cancer.
The Daystar burns.
That's fine.
The day star.
Chris, are you gonna do the honors?
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah.
you're rarely here, dude.
I am really... Thanks, ma'am.
Yeah, radical.
Yeah. Don't look judge us.
Don't look judge. Don't look judge
Don't
us.
look judge.
Don't look, judge.
I can't see
I
your
shan't.
mouth.
I will
Phil.
think, judge. Goodbye.
Sean, don't touch the end record. Suck my dick. hope if I say suck my dick a lot, it'll get funnier.